Hi, so today we're going to address this Keiki that has grown on this old flower spike for at least 6 months. As you can see, she has two nice leaves, good sized leaves, and also 4 roots. So she has a good established root system. These roots are at least 3 inches long, so she will be repotted today. Also, she had a flower spike, but it has recently, within the last 2 weeks, died off. So that's why I'm knowing that she definitely needs to be repotted, as she's not getting the nutrients that she needs at this point. And the mama orchid is suffering as well, so it's well past time to take care of her, to separate her from the mother and repot her or pot her up and get her own system established. And we're gonna do that today. All right. Okay, so we are back and we are at the stage where we are ready to perform this surgery. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut her right about here on the flower spike, the old flower spike. And we're only going to cut less than a ½ inch underneath her roots. And I have my pre-sterilized scissors here, or shears. And so we're going to do that now. So our scissors have been sterilized and we're ready to perform this surgery. And the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut her flower spike back. I'm going to do that, and we're just going to cut it at the base, as it was really old and it died off, so it's time for it to go. So we're going to go ahead and take care of this. And there she is. She is now separated from mama. Very gingerly. And there she is with her 2 leaves and her roots. And so this is where it was, the top part where it was dying off, and this is the part that was still connected to the mom, and it's still fairly green, so it looks good, but it definitely was time to separate. So we're going to go ahead and pot her up, and we'll take care of mama after we take care of baby. All right. Okay, so we are back, and what I'm going to do, since this is an open wound, I'm going to put some cinnamon on the tip of this just to make sure she gets no infection, because it is an entryway and it could get easily infected since it is an open quote-unquote wound. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little cinnamon on. And just apply to her. Okay. This, even though this end is pretty much dead, so flip her over and just. There she is taken care of. So the next thing I want to do is go ahead and get her potted up. And I chose a pot for her based on the length of her roots. I'm going to spray her roots down a little bit more. I sprayed her before I did the separate, but I think I'm going to try to size her up in terms of a pot. I didn't want to go too big or definitely didn't want to go too small. So I'm thinking either a 6-inch size pot, and I'm going to try to work her roots in, is what I was thinking in terms of getting her roots a little softer. I don't want to disturb her roots, and I don't want to break them at all. So let me see if I can get them a little more pliable by getting them a little bit wetter, and see if I can maybe see which one. She might actually do better in this one. So I think she'll do better in this one. Let me re-wet her roots and see if I can get them to go in the pot a little bit easier without feeling like I'm gonna disrupt them or break them. Okay, so we're gonna try to get her roots a little bit so we're going to try to get her roots a little bit softer to go in the pot a little easier. I'm just rehydrating with water. See if her roots are a little more pliable. That seemed to help. With her roots being so long, I'll just have to play with it a little bit to get them in here, to get them to fit. So I think that will work. Maybe she'll stand up just a tiny bit. Like I said, I don't want to break her roots, but I do want them to go in. And this pot seems to fit really well, considering her roots were as long as they were. So we're going to go with this size pot. So I'm going to go ahead and put my Hydro Rocks in the bottom for drainage. I think that's good. And I have my moss combination with fir bark. And that's been pre-soaking overnight, so we're just gonna go ahead and add this in. And what we're gonna do is add a little more moss to this as we put her in the, as we add this to the pot. Because these roots have not touched any bark, and we want them to be to get used to moss, even though I did wet them as they grew. Just spray them down with water. We want her roots to get used to moisture. So we have vermiculite, stagland moss, and perlite combined. And we're adding this to the fir bark that's already soaked and ready to go. Again, I chose this size pot because her roots were so long. Normally, I would have gone with a little smaller pot, the next size down, but her roots were so long, so we're just going to go with this size, and I think she will be okay. But what I will do is, now that she's repotted, I will keep my eye on her, and hopefully everything will go smooth. I'm going to add a little more moss here. I'm going to add some to her base as well. So we do want to cover her roots. And up until this point, they have only been aerial roots. So she's definitely going to have to get used to her new environment. You can see that. And I have quite a bit of moss in here so that she will continue to grow her roots and get new roots. I will keep the roots damp so that her environment will be hydrated to help her roots to grow. The pot has plenty of ventilation, and that will keep any bacteria from forming or any fungi forming in her new environment for her. And she is potted. She is potted. She is potted. There she is. So I think she will be fine. Normally in a repot, I do add charcoal. I didn't in this particular instance because, like I said, this is a brand new environment for her. And maybe in a couple of months or so, 6 months or so, I can go back in, providing that she does well, I can go back in and add charcoal if I want to her, or to her repot, and just to check on the roots and see how she's doing in her new environment. So she is potted. All right. So that's it. And I would say this was a successful operation. And I believe she'll do well. I believe she'll do well. We'll put her in a sunny environment. And like I said, I'll keep my eye on her and keep her moss on the more on the moist side than dry. And also just spray her. And I have been spraying her when she was attached to the mother, and giving her a root stimulant. So I will also do that as well, and we all will go well. All right. Okay, and that's it. That's it for today. And if you have any questions or comments, please add them in the description below, in the chat below. And thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Make it a great day.